Hi everyone, so here we are on the Housing Loss Prevention tab from the 2019-2020 data collection from the government. So first of all, when talking about housing loss prevention, you may have also seen core services. Those are both from the prevention and shelter diversion. So we're trying to help a client keep their housing situation and not go in a shelter or on the street. So those intervention can either be some rental assistance, some landlord and family mediation. We can also see some utility payments, some trusteeship, and other financial related services. So when filling out this tab, first of all, you're going to have to input the client ID. You need one for each member of a family and each individual. So, for example, here we have some numbers, some letters, can either go towards initial or the family name with numbers for each member of the family. So if we go to our client 111, we're going to have a date for intervention, which is going to be in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So from April 1st, 2019, up until March 31st, 2020. So here our intervention was on the 3rd of July, 2019, and it's going to generate automatically the right columns over here. So we're going to have a date for a 3-month follow-up. It's going to generate automatically the client ID. Here you're going to have to select in the drop-down menu the gender of the individual. And those information are mainly for the government. So they want to know if the intervention occurred during this fiscal year, and if the follow-up will be in the fiscal year. So here we have a yes, because it's going to be answered the same spreadsheet. On column H, they are wondering if the follow-up would have to be in the next fiscal year, which is a situation we're going to look at later on. And for the column I, it's a situation that will be more on the 2020-2021 spreadsheet, and I'm going to talk about this later on too. So here for the 3-month follow-up, you're going to have to answer if the client remained housed at the 3-month mark, if they did not remain housed, or if you don't know. So for example, here I selected that the client did not remain housed. From the drop-down menu, I picked that they moved back with their family and moved back home. They could also return to homelessness or to a public institution, or they could be deceased. Now you're going to input any demographic information that you have on the client by just inputting a 1. For example, here we have a veteran, which is also a senior. So this is all you need to do for the HLP for this client. So here we have a second client, which will be AAA. For this client, the date of intervention is the 15th February 2020. So the follow-up will be on the 15th of May 2020. So this means that follow-up will have to be done in the next fiscal year. This is why we have a yes over here in the column H. As previously, we have to fill out the gender in the column F. Then you don't have to answer anything in the column J to L, G to L, sorry. So GKL, you don't answer in those columns, it will be in the next spreadsheet. Afterwards, you answer, you put a 1 for any demographic information that you have in a client. So here we have someone with a disability, which is also an adult. And if ever you had, for example, another intervention for the same client, so you would have AAA again, and the intervention could have been on the 2020, let's say in the beginning of March, just a few weeks after the first intervention. So let's say the 5th of March. So here we're going to have a new 3-month follow-up. But this follow-up will also have to be in the next fiscal year. So what do we do in this case? Since we have 2 follow-up for the same client in the next fiscal year, we are only going to take the last intervention that occurred. So the follow-up will only be on the 3rd of June 2020. We don't do the follow-up for May. So this is how it's going to, this is what you need to input for the 2019-2020 tab. And when you're finished adding any information, you have to click on the top right button that says Create Reporting Table. So you click on this. There you go. So here we're going to have the Hlp Reporting tab that will automatically generate. This is the same for the Hlp 3-month carryover and the Hlp not housed for 3 months. So those 3 tabs, you will not have to input any information. It will all automatically generate from this little button over here. So if, for example, here we had any more information, so let's just say their date of intervention for them. So here we go. We insert over here, remain housed, was indigenous, and endo. So here, since we add some information, you just have to click back on the creating a report table, and it will update the following tables. So let's go to other cases. So here, since the follow-up will be in the next fiscal year, what you will have to do at this moment. So here we go on the 2020-2021 spreadsheet. You're going to have a tab named CS Follow-up April to December. So this is the modified table for the HLP. So the housing loss prevention became core services in the 2021 data spreadsheet. So here we're going to copy some information. So here we have another intervention that would be just look back on the 2019. So that's why you really need to have the spreadsheet open from the 2019 to follow up with the 2020. So here we said that the intervention was in the beginning of March. So we're going to input this over here. So here we have the 3-month follow-up date. So here we're going to have a yes. This is because the individual was carried over from last reporting period. So the individual is from 2019, but then the follow-up will be in 2020. So here I have inserted that they remain housed after 3 months, but they could also not remain housed or be unable to contact. And here for the demographic, it's in gray, and this is because you cannot add any information for the demographic because you already inserted for the demographic in the 2019-2020 data collection. So when finished with this, you would just have to click on the Create Summary tab. That is for the next fiscal year. So if we go back over here, all you need to make sure of is that after filling out this table, you know which intervention has to be in the next fiscal year. And if you already have the spreadsheet, you can already copy them, and maybe the date of the intervention has already passed. So you will then have to do the intervention if it was not already done, or answer the information that you know at that moment. So here you go for the housing loss prevention tab. You're welcome.